Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. Enjoy personalized comfort for better sleep night after night. It's the final days of our Black Friday sale. Recharge this season with a bundle of cozy, soothing comfort. Now only $17.99 for our C2 mattress and base, plus free premium delivery. Prices higher in Alaska and Hawaii. Check it out at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com today.
We all know those GLP-1 injections work wonders, but that price tag almost gave me a heart attack when my insurance denied coverage. I was staring at a choice between paying my mortgage or paying for weight loss. Talk about a rock and a hard place. Then I found Elevate Health compounded semaglutide at just $58 with payment plans that don't require a second mortgage. Same medication, same results, but a price that real folks can actually afford. Visit joinelevate.com today. That's JOINELEVATE.com. Your wallet will be as happy as your waistline. This medication is not FDA approved.
It's Sunday, it's October 6th, and this is Doing the Thing. I'm Myles McCaulskey, and I'm here with Fail J.
Hey!
From the Motion podcast, and also from More Than a Muses podcast, we've got Sadie Anderson.
Hello!
And we are here to talk about everything happening in our world this week. So, I'll start off before we get into anything by saying, how are you guys? How are you enjoying your Sunday?
Good. Yeah, it's a good Sunday.
I've
sat on my couch until this moment all Sunday, so I've been having a great day, actually.
That sounds very, very ideal. I've been kind of doing something similar, just watching football the whole day. So yeah, you can enjoy the Sunday. Fair, we said.
Yeah, it's been one of those Saturday Sundays where you don't really know at what point it became a Sunday. But yeah, it's been okay, thanks.
Amazing. So, of course, me and Fair have been on the show quite a few times. We've done the show together as well. But if anyone who's first time listening as well, Sadie's first time you're actually on it as well, we kind of just talk about anything. We kind of go on tangents. We go on wild trains, like loops of just random thoughts. And then we bring it back to kind of like a few topics. And then we play, just some vibes around it, really. So the first thing we're going to talk about this week is Naomi Campbell's charity Fashion for Relief has been in the headlines recently because the model's been banned from being a trustee of any charity. So she's been banned from being a trustee for any charity in the UK because she's been found out to be spending money on like luxury hotels and spa treatments, living the high life, but using the charity's money at the same time effectively. So, of course, not a good look. And I guess the main question from this is, should we always be suspicious of celebrity-run charities and businesses, or are charities the most effective way to help people in general? So let's start. I guess we can break this down in two parts for the first bit. So let's say if you see a celebrity, your favorite celebrity or an influencer or somebody, say, I'm starting a charity. Are you invested in that charity? Sadie, I'll let you go first.
Am I invested in it? Oh, I feel like I'm immediately a little bit skeptical, depending on who it's coming from. Well, I think maybe anyone that it's coming from, I'd be very skeptical immediately of the intentions and exactly what's going on.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely agree. I do not trust anybody, let alone celebrities. And I feel like I'm here for all of them getting exposed, essentially. I think there's been a lot of things coming to light. So yeah, just keep it coming. I think they need to be exposed. I have like favorite celebrities, but I don't, at this point, there's nobody that if something came out, I'd be like, oh my gosh, not you. It's literally like everyone at this point. So yeah, I'm keeping my money in my purse.
For real. I feel like there's been so many scandals in the last 4 years alone, let alone the history of time of celebrities, that it's better to be like, that's nice that you're doing that. I think I'm going to hold my money elsewhere and then just wait a little bit. Because I mean, it's annoying in the sense of that. Why is why are charities kind of getting used for that purpose, or the definition of a charity has changed so much? Because I remember even for myself, like my family always used to say charity starts at home. So like, what can you do in your own community to help, you know, bolster the support system? You know what I mean? Like, is it go out into your own local community and give out like food? Would you donate some old clothes? What are you going to do? So would you be more happy to kind of work on helping your local, like, you know, friends and family out and expand from that database, and then or instead of putting trust into celebrities these days now, really?
Yeah. You know what? That reminds me. Did you ever watch America's Next Top Model? I swear this is relevant. Because that show is riddled with problematic moments, and of course that should be acknowledged. But I do remember there was this one moment that Tyra Banks was talking to a wannabe contestant, and the contestant was talking about like, oh, I can't wait one day to like have a lot of money so that I can do charity work, so I can finally start doing it. And Tyra Banks said, that's amazing. Can you tell me about what you're doing right now in your own community? And that contestant was like she did not have an answer. And I remember like hearing that and was like, oh, like I think there's a way that people kind of like glamorize like finally being able to like give and do something when they are wealthy enough to like go into other communities or other countries around the world without actually, like you said, stopping to be like, oh, whoa, what about what's happening in my own community right now that I could actually like make a difference in my own, you know, with people that I'm around every single day. So shout out to America's Next Top Model, because that was a moment that I was like, well done, Tyra Banks. That was a good call. Anyways.
Yeah. I think that's spot on. I think there's like something I often say is what you do with £100 is what you'll do with like 1 million, with what you do with 100 million. And I think I'm really glad that you asked that question, Myles, because I was like, yeah, I'm here, like, you know, say expose everyone, but really, what am I doing? Like, you know, and it's not a lot. I could be doing a lot more, definitely. So, yeah.
Do you know what? Yeah, like I think I'd rather someone acknowledge that and say I can do something in the future when I know what I want to do, than to kind of like, you know, aimlessly just try and donate money or just look good for it.
True.
Like, yeah, like Sadie's point with America's Next Top Model, like you look at it from a perspective of that person just wants to give money to charity just to look good. I don't think they actually probably care. Like, and even though someone might be a beneficiary of that, doesn't mean that it's with good intentions. And sometimes the lines can be a bit blurred by that. But if you could give any, like, what if you could set up a charity right now? Let's say we have £100, and that's that I'm using Faye's £100 right now. Right, we'll expand it to 1 million later. What type of charities would you be trying to set up? What would you like to help out with?
I'm really passionate about like homelessness. I was talking to somebody about this yesterday, and they were like, "Oh, but what if you got them off the street and they were just hungry?" Because their passion was like world hunger. Obviously, we don't want people hungry or without a home, but I just think that there's way too many vacant spaces in the UK. I mean, all over the world, but like in the UK, for there to be people on the street. So I think I definitely would want to start there.
Sadie?
Yeah. I feel like I'd always want to start with like refuge centers for women who are like in like domestic violence situations. I feel like there's so many people who are in situations they don't know where to turn to. So I think the places that are already set up as like safe spaces for them are amazing. And I think if I were to start anything or be like, you know, join something, I'd love to help out more with that, I think.
There we go. We're showing our philanthropic spirits right now.
Yeah, our hopes.
Yeah, so in 30 years, if all CEOs of the companies are speaking into existence.
What about you?
I'll probably do something like mental health.
Yeah.
I feel like it's such a broad topic, and obviously the two words get thrown around a lot, but like actually breaking down when someone's struggling without them knowing, or like even just being a support, like having a charity or something like that where you've got a support circle around people, because we're seeing in this day and age now, like so many people have different issues just because of social media and stuff like that. Like I was watching a breakdown of FouseyTube. I don't know if you guys know that YouTuber. So it was big in the 2010s, and he's now had like multiple breakdowns through like social media and stuff like that. And it kind of just made me thinking, this was yesterday I was watching this and I was like, okay, maybe a charity around that would be good because social media and charities and all that, it all falls in hand somewhere. So we'll move away from that for now. And we'll talk about something kind of similar in a way because it's about like endorsement of celebrity products. So of course, obviously with this charity that Naomi Campbell set up is kind of, you're more invested in it because she's endorsing it, it's her thing, right? In the last couple of weeks, we've seen Logan Paul, KSI, and Mr. Beast release Lunchly in America. Sadie's nodding her head. She knows what I'm talking about. Sadie, you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
No, I don't.
I'll bring you. So, you know, back in the day, Faye, you know, we had the Dairy Lunchables. So you had like a little bit of ham, a little bit of cracker.
Yeah.
They did that, but they released it in America. They released their own version. So, and it's got a lot of backlash so far because they're trying to say it's a healthy version, and there's many different reasons why it's getting backlash. But we'll stick on the celebrity endorsed side for it for now. Would you buy something like that? Sadie, I'll go to you first because you know exactly what I'm kind of talking about.
Personally, I am not interested in the Logan Paul Lunchable. You know, they can create the products they want, but I'm gonna hold off on that. Good for them. I'm not interested personally.
So would you, if you saw it ever pop up on the shelves in the UK, what you said?
Yeah, I think I'm way past the Lunchable days. But I guess my question is always like, when celebrities want to launch things, like what really is like your connection to the brand? Like, I feel like, I mean, to be fair, I don't follow Logan Paul closely. What I know of him is just being a troll, respectfully. So I'm just like, it's not like you've really been going on about nutrition. So like, what is that connection? And I feel like I talk about Beyonce every single time I'm on this. But even with her, like, I'm kind of annoyed at this point. You release the hairline, that's great, cool. You finally showed us your real hair. It's truly amazing. So it makes sense. But now you're like releasing a whiskey brand, and every single brand has some like relevance to one age-old ancestor who was really passionate about whiskey, like really passionate about jeans. And I'm just tired. I feel like, I don't know. I think she's doing too much. And I think like a lot of, obviously they have a following, they want to make the most of it, but it would just be nice to see it a bit more closely linked to what their like brand has been about.
Totally. Yeah, I feel like with celebrity endorsed products or created things, it's exactly that. Like if that's something that they've like created their brand on, or like even when like Selena Gomez did a makeup line, like that made sense to me. I was super okay with that. But then when all the other, I feel like some other pop stars have started creating makeup lines, and I was like, but I don't feel like that's a core part of your brand, that it's like hard for me to like want to like, it's not as believable, you know?
Yeah.
So what do you think the ideal product from a celebrity would be? Or is there ever an ideal product?
I think if it's already in line with their brand, like I said, with Beyonce and doing a hair care line, like that made sense to me. Like I could see having that. And I think that, or like Selena Gomez in makeup, I can't think of another example right now, but I feel like if it's an extension on the brand, I'm here for it. But sometimes it gets a little, I don't know, like what's the story we're telling here?
Yeah, I feel like sometimes just stick to merch. Just have like a little logo on a t-shirt, like it will sell. You don't need to like just be releasing brands for the sake of it. And I think the Selena Gomez one is so interesting because it took me like maybe years to find out that was her brand. Like it had its own credibility as a makeup brand in itself. And I think that we should hold them to the same account that we hold other brands. Like you can't just release anything and put your name on it and expect it to do well.
Yeah, 100%. I didn't even know Selena Gomez had makeup. Well, it's not my field anyway. I'm not actually looking around in Superdrug for that. But it's one of those situations where I guess it is nice when you kind of don't expect it and then you find out at a later date. Because you kind of have a different trust in it. When you always try new products, you know, everyone's a bit of a creature comfort. They kind of like, they know what they like. They're going to stick with that. They're going to buy that. So it's going to take a long time for something to kind of infiltrate your buying styles and habits and stuff like that. But for going back to the kind of the original topic with Naomi Campbell and stuff, like, would you, when celebrities get caught out and they've basically fumbled the bag, like, what kind of punishments or again, I don't say punishment. I say punishment. What other punishments do you think they should be getting for that? Like, if say, for example, they come out of a statement, 5 years later and said, here's charity number 2, which is doing the same thing as charity number 1, but we've learned from our mistakes?
It's tough. It's really tough, to be honest. I actually said that if I ever become famous, I'm not apologizing for anything, and I'm just gonna start with that being my thing. So it's like, I'm not saying I'm not gonna make mistakes, but or I'm not gonna publicly apologize for anything, basically, because it's like we spent so much time campaigning for the apology, but as you said, really, like, what has changed? Like, are you just going to release something newer down the line? I don't think that the apologies are sincere. They're probably not even written by them. So I don't really care so much about the apology. And then again, I don't know if I am like in a position to say how someone should be punished. Like, slight tangent, but if we look at Will Smith and the punch and everything, I personally think that like punishment was way was not proportionate to what he did. I think, a little bit of a timeout, a little bit of we're not endorsing this for now is fine. Giving them like the time to kind of actually work on it instead of just being like, we need an apology and we need like action now, because really what really changes when that's what the focus is on, basically.
Totally. And, I mean, I as a person make mistakes every day. I'm just lucky that it's not on a level that news articles would be written about it. So I think that's, a good point of like, and a lot of times when they apologize, it's like, are they writing that apology? It's just like having a safe relationship with them of just like knowing like that's their world. This is mine. I can't accept, I don't know. Like, it's not my apology to accept a lot of the times. And I don't know, let karma do its thing. Maybe I don't need to do anything myself. If that works.
To be fair, I think the karma thing is, some people don't believe in it, but I kind of do. But like, I think it makes sense, because at the end of the day, if you're going to do something wild, it's going to come back to you eventually. Apart from Faye, she started on business. She said, I'm not apologizing.
I admire that. Like, that's probably the right way to go about it, to be honest. Like, I'm not publicly.
Yeah, I think so, because there was this period, I don't know if it was maybe a bit pre-COVID afterwards, where it's like they'd apologize and then people weren't happy with the apology. So then you're apologizing for your apology, and it just becomes so ridiculous. And I think a lot of these times, some of these people are great people, some are not so great people. Great people make mistakes, not so great people make mistakes. Like, it's just part of being human. And I think when we become so entitled and like getting the perfect apology, we're just missing the point. So it's not saying like, I guess I'm not saying it in a way of just saying I can do what I want because I'm famous. It's more just like, really, you don't even want an apology. You just want an excuse to kind of go at someone who's made a mistake publicly. And I just can't really get behind that.
I mean, that is pretty much a perfect sum up of this whole situation that we're speaking about right now. And I think we should take a quick break and come back and talk some more about some social media activities. Welcome back to Doing the Thing. I'm Myles McCaulskey, and I'm joined here with Faye and Sadie. How are you both doing?
Great, thank you.
Good. So we just spoke about Naomi Campbell, and we spoke about charities, and we spoke about standard of business, and we spoke about America's Top Model. So we've spoken about a nice array of things in part 1. Now, part 2, we're going to be speaking about social media and advertising. Now, before we get into the main topic, I wanted to ask you guys, like, basically, when you're watching TikTok or Instagram Reels or YouTube Shorts or whatever, do you ever get random channels that are you've never searched for this thing in the world, and then they send you a video, you watch a video, you're like, I don't know why I'm watching this, but I've watched it and I've never searched for it. Has that ever happened to any of you before?
I think on TikTok, like, random lives pop up all the time, and yeah, it's like, what actually? You've obviously shown me this for a reason, but what did I watch that made you think that I was interested in this? Because I'm really not.
Yeah. Same. I really had to work hard to train my TikTok algorithm to teach it that I do not like the ASMR videos. They really unsettle me. But for a long time, I don't know what I was watching that kept making them think that I really liked TikTok live ASMRs. But I was like, no, please, enough. I think I finally have cleared my TikTok feed from that. But I was getting those for a long time, and I did not like that.
Well, hopefully your phone's not listening to you right now and saying, ooh, increase ASMR videos into your algorithm, because for me, it's definitely happened. I keep getting, there's this random, this is going to sound so wild, right? There's this hippopotamus in Thailand called Mudeng. Yeah. I never searched for this, but it keeps coming up on my YouTube shorts. And I'm like, I don't care. I don't really want to see this anymore. I've never mentioned the words until now. My phone's right next to me. So maybe it's listed. It says, cool, first thing you're going to do is you're going to see that. But there's definitely a discussion that has been had about, you know, your phone's listening to you, scheduled ads. And even now, the European Union Court of Justice has said that Meta, which is the company that is run by Mark Zuckerberg, who owns Instagram and Facebook and a few other apps as well, have to minimize the amount of data it uses for personalized ads on their social media platforms. After a user complained that the company misused personal data to target ads at him. So definitely an interesting one to see. Like, again, it kind of links in with, you know, training your algorithm and also trying to steer clear from certain things that might pop up that they think, oh, you're going to like that. But, you know, when you see ads, especially like you might be having a conversation saying, oh, and let's say we're coming up to Christmas now, 2 months away, but oh, I'm going to buy this thing for Christmas. And next thing you know, the first ad you see is that. Do you find that kind of creepy, or is it like, oh, that's convenient?
It honestly depends on the day.
Yes.
It honestly does.
And
sometimes,
depends on the item too.
absolutely. I feel like sometimes it's like, oh, you've actually showed me it and it's on sale and stuff like that. Sometimes it's like, this was a private conversation with my sister and I. Like, I wasn't actually trying to buy it, and it's very invasive. So I'm happy that they're cracking down on the data that they can use. I think that a lot of these tech companies kind of do take advantage of their position in the market and like the monopolies they have over things. But yeah, it's definitely a balance that needs to be struck. But I think TikTok, I like how TikTok do it. Like, I just love scrolling through my For You, and I'm like actually obsessed with anything that I see. Right now it's cat's eye, but yeah, that's a completely other topic. So I'll stop there.
Dang. I feel like, yeah, I mean, it's great when I search for an item and then, like you said, a couple weeks later, it's popping back up on my feed again saying that it's on sale now. Like, that's the kind of targeted ads that I want. I want to what I've already been searching for. But yeah, sometimes it's like I'm talking about, like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of like a weird item that I would not want anyone to know that I was talking about. But I'm like, wait, maybe I don't want to say that. But yeah, it's like a weird balance. Like, sometimes it's nice and other times I'm like, what else do they know? Like, it makes me start thinking that. Or like, I have a little what is it, like a Alexa, like the things that listen, like in use Siri in my kitchen. And oftentimes, like, if people say Sadie, it thinks that it's saying Siri, like it thinks that it's talking, and so it'll like start listening. And so sometimes we don't even know it's listening, and then all of a sudden it will like respond to a conversation we're having, and I'm just like, oh no, the conspiracy is real. They're listening all the time.
I feel like obviously, Faye, you're from the tech background, so when did this all start? When did it get to the point that it was almost allowed that apps or phones or technology could kind of listen into your conversations? Or how does it even pick it up, if you know any of the answers for that?
Yeah, so I'm not an expert on like advertising and stuff like that specifically, but cookies are one. So like, if you accept cookies, they're going to like track you and how you go to other sites. And then in terms of your phones, there's a lot of settings that just come default. You know, all of these iOS updates. If you actually go into the settings and look at a lot of the things that you're allowing, you would be surprised. I should go through and actually do this, but you know, I've got a job and other things to do. But there's a lot of things that we basically enabled by default that you probably want to have a look and change some of the stuff. Okay,
so if we was to get rid of all personalized ads now, let's just say they're all creepy, like all like, whoa, okay, too much information. Do you think it would help trust the internet? Or no, like, the internet is such a vague term. Do you think you trust brands more, or do you think you kind of want that back, the personalized ads?
So I'm going to go into personalization, but on another thing, music. So Spotify, Apple Music, big debate. I am an avid Apple Music listener because I think when it comes to music, I don't want somebody to tell me what to listen to. I love stumbling upon a random song, you know, every now and again. And I just like, also, just because I've listened to Hamilton or Wicked every day for a week doesn't mean I want to listen to them next week. Do you know what I mean? It's just a little bit more nuanced that I feel like the tech doesn't always get. So that's an area where I think I'm happy to kind of get rid of personalization to make my life a little bit harder, but for gain later on. Whereas with ads and stuff, I think sometimes the stuff TikTok shows me is actually really, really helpful. Like the Bialy brow gel, it's changed my life. Yeah. People think my brows are laminated, which would cost me like £40, and it cost me 10. That's fantastic. Like, I think all of these advancements in tech with personalization, it should be to make people's lives easier and not to make them like on the edge and scared. I think that's the tech I like anyway. But I know that a lot of these companies do take advantage of this.
Sadie, what do you think?
I think so. I love that point with like Spotify and Apple Music, because I have Spotify and I feel like lately I've been getting so sick that I'm like, you only show me like the music I listen to, and like sometimes like I'm getting like almost like caught in a loop of like, is this the only music that exists in the world? Because now this is the only music that Spotify is even showing me. And like, I'm a musician. I want to, you know, see more out there. So I love that. And honestly, that was a great argument for potentially switching. So who knows? But at the same time, I've built up all my playlists Spotify. I don't know. I'm sad. Anyways, not the point. But I do kind of feel like the ads for like products that do help my life, like, it's like I said, it's really nice if I search for something and 2 weeks later I get an ad that's like, now this is on sale. Like shout out internet, you know, advertising. You did well with that one. Now I'm getting this for a little bit cheaper than I thought I was, and because I wanted it, you know. And the thing is in some ways they're usually right. Like, I'm a bit predictable with the things that I like. If I like these boots, you're right, I'm gonna probably want these jeans, and like, thank you for showing that to me because they're really cute. So, and sometimes unfortunately they got me, you know, like they read me, and it's nice.
I think I'm kind of agree, you know. I'm sitting there, I'm listening to everything, and I'm trying to think of like how we develop this whole bit. But we're all kind of pro personalized ads right now. Everyone's kind of, for the most part, kind of like it. Like, there's not really much bite back towards it. I mean, Faye, you're gonna say something?
Yeah, I just feel like transparency is super important. So I think to make people feel more at ease, I'm showing you this ad because you like this. I'm showing you this ad because you watched this video. And then I see it. But it's like, which I think is why they're probably limiting Meta, is when you're using information that you shouldn't be using, or you're not being clear in exactly how you're using the information. I think that's where the problem is for me.
I think another thing that I've tried to be more mindful of is like, I'm getting a targeted ad and I'm going to some website that I've maybe never heard of or a brand of. Then now I want to know, like, how sustainable is this? You know, is this actually going to be a good quality item? Like, that's kind of where some of my concern comes after that too, of like, cool, I can see this ad. It's really, you know, it's a cute thing. I like it, but how do I know that it's going to be a good quality? How do I know it's like a big, you know, legitimate brand that I could like trust the sourcing and everything too? I would want more information on that as well.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of times you're not going to be able to get that. I just look at, if I can see the padlock in the screen and the address bar, I know it's a legit site.
Yeah.
That's how I'm sometimes gauging it. I'm just wigging it.
Yeah.
But I mean, when we look at like, obviously this court case, a lot of people who are going to be discussing it, they're going to be maybe slightly older. They're not going to have grown up with the internet, with technology. Obviously, now there's a whole generation that's grown up with AI. So they're going to be more on top of that in about 20 years' time than maybe us who are seeing AI, but we're already adults at the same time. So do you think that like ageism has a part to play in skepticism when it comes to advertising and this type of what we're kind of talking about at the moment? Anyone can go first.
I'm trying to think. I mean, the only thing that I'm thinking of is I've noticed that too, because like with AI, I am very much like, no, like that's going to destroy our world. But like, you know, maybe previous generations did think that about, you know, the things that I just grew up and I'm used to. So it's hard to know.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with Sadie. I think the more you know, the less skepticism there is. So it kind of goes back to my earlier point about transparency. And I think typically the younger generation are quite like well versed with tech and like what's going on and like what does what. So if you have no knowledge on that, you're just getting shown things and you actually think your phone is like listening to your every move and the secret that you told your sister that you said you would never tell anyone, and then like someday down the line everyone's gonna know that. Then
yeah, I mean, I think I definitely agree. Like you said, transparency I think is the key takeaway from this point. It's just more what doesn't look too forced, what doesn't look too fake. Of course, in the situation with the European Union Court, I think it was like down to something a bit more personal than kind of just clothes and stuff like that. So I think, like I said, transparency is about drawing the line where it's. What I think is the line is always going to be different for different people, because what might be that's really helpful for us might not be for somebody else. So, but again, how do you define the parameters of that? If if you're just clicking yes on accept cookies because you just want to see the article.
Yeah. Like, you really don't know exactly what you're saying yes to sometimes. You're just, like you said, I just want to read the article, but you don't realize that now that means they can track you 10 clicks from now, and that I think as far as like people's right to privacy, it's interesting now that like what you can click yes to on the internet without even being mindful of that could affect, the things that people know about you or some random tech company knows about you. And I can understand why that's scary, and it's, because it is your private information and you should have the choice of who you are sharing that with. So I can understand that it's scary in that way, of course.
Yeah, definitely. I just was reminded of a tweet I did, I think, a while ago, when I just said I'm in like an accept all phase of my life. Like I'm not in the phase of my life where I can be going and only clicking on required cookies. Whatever you want to know about me, just take it. Because sometimes I feel like we think that I don't know, I feel like there's like levels to it. And in terms of if we're looking at like CSI, MI5 levels, I feel like unticking accept all is not really helping you. I think if they want to know what they want to know about me, then they'll know. Have deeper tools than that. So yeah, we try and empower ourselves and stuff like that and keep our data to ourselves. And really, I don't know, I'm very skeptical that we can really protect ourselves in the long run.
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point, like, the digital footprint that everybody's got is very identifiable, to be honest. Like, they're gonna be able to work out, like, cool, this person like this, and do you know what? Like, sometimes I feel like when everyone's in person, when you're meeting somebody new, you don't really know much about them really when you meet someone for the first time. But if you're looking at tech, or you're looking at like someone, again, digital footprint, you know way too much about them before you even open your mouth and say hello or whatever dialect or language you're speaking. Now, is that something that would worry you if someone was able to do, like, again, I'm taking this out of CSI conspiracy theory, like if someone had all the information they had about you before they even spoke to you, from your online ads, searches, everything like that, would that worry you? Or would you be like, at least they know me, conversation's not going to be awkward now?
No, I'm worried. I'm really, really worried. My search histories can be a bit scary sometimes. Not like scary. It's just a bit weird. So it's like, kind of, why do you care? Why do you care? But no one needs to know I care about those kind of things. I think it's nice to keep it to myself. And weirdly, when I first meet someone and they follow me on Instagram, I always hide my story, because if you're watching my story without the context of like actually knowing me in person, you're just not going to get me. And I feel like we really do need to marry up the digital footprint with the in person, because it's just so out of context, I think, a lot of the time.
Totally. I feel like it happens a lot where I'll meet people that I follow on social media just because we have mutual friends, and then I meet them in person, and then I'm like, I'm meeting you for the first time, and there's a part of me that's like, well, how was your trip last summer? And I'm like, wait, no, I shouldn't know that about you. That's weird. And I think it's important to, remember I'm meeting someone as they are right now. Try and forget everything I think I know about them, because like you said, who you are and present yourself on Instagram or whatever you use it's different than who you are in person, and that's good.
Yeah, for real. I mean, it's just interesting because, like you said, people sometimes, you just follow people's stories or you're on there a lot, or you'll talk to certain people because you're always on social media with them, and then you come off social media and you won't talk to them for a while. You're like, oh, you're not really my friend.
Yeah.
That's the realization. And then you just kind of, you might see them again after a while. You might see them in person like, this conversation is not as good as it was, we should probably keep it moving. Yeah. So that's kind of literally a situation where I feel like we've kind of looked at everything now. We've looked at kind of like, the whole ads, we've looked at digital footprints, we've looked at everything now. Let's take a break and come back and let's talk about some nostalgia. Hey, what's going on, people? You're locked into Doing the Thing with me, Myles. I'm here with Faye and Sadie. You both good? You both still here with me?
Still here.
Good to hear. Now, we're talking about nostalgia next, and loads of different things have been happening in the world. We've kind of got to the point now where I feel like there's still some new exciting things to come, but everybody's always looking back into the past. They're looking at their childhood, they're looking at their teenage years, their early 20s or whatever, and looking at times where they've really enjoyed something. Now, I'll go on a tangent first before we get into our main topic. A lot of people are playing a map of Fortnite, which was a big game, which I'm sure everyone knows. It's not been made by Epic Games, it's been made by a random company, and everybody is now starting to flock over to start playing that game as opposed to Fortnite. And they've seen a kind of a little noticeable drop off because people are looking for the old map nostalgia as opposed to what's currently in the meta of the game now. So Princess Diaries is coming back because Anne Hathaway, she's announced that Princess Diaries 3 is now in production. So it's got a lot of people talking here as well at Wizard about what would be some of the things that you'd like to see come back. Now I'm going to start on a negative note for mine. We didn't need Lion King, and we don't need Lion King 2, the live action sequel. We didn't need that, but no. I want to bring positivity first before we get to negatives. I'm sure we've got a few of those. So, Sadie, you kick us off. What is something you'd like to see come back potentially?
Well, I did see that Amanda Seyfried did an interview where she talked about that she would love to have a Mamma Mia 3 where Sabrina Carpenter played her daughter. And do you want to know what? That is a sequel that I would love to see. That is nothing that's probably going to happen. I would love to make that happen if I had the power. Even if it doesn't make sense for Sabrina Carpenter to be her daughter, it doesn't work. Doesn't matter. That is a sequel that I would like to see come back. Always more Mamma Mia.
Okay.
Yeah, a 10 out of 10 agree. That would actually be amazing. Incredible. I also want to see The Parent Trap come back with Lindsay Lohan in her, more mature age. Would love that. And on the topic of sequels that came back that I've actually really enjoyed is Bel-Air. So it's like a more dramatized version of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And typically I wouldn't really want to see that, but I think because they've brought it back in a different angle and added more depth to the story, it's just super, super interesting. I really like it.
I didn't even know that was still going on. I thought that was a one series.
No, season 3.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
I will say I'm going to watch it, but I'm not. So we're going to move on. I can't be asked to watch new shows. And it kind of links into what we've got. Because do you guys find it difficult to engage into new shows? But when it comes to old school throwbacks, it's easy just to kind of switch it on and watch it straight away.
I think so. But I think at the same time, like you mentioned, I think I'm getting a little tired of the sequels that nobody asked for, that, what does it add to this? So I don't know, but I think I do kind of go back and watch. I don't know. What are the shows that you always go back to and watch?
I finished watching Everybody Hates Chris about 3 weeks ago. I watched the whole thing, and then I just realized that they announced they're doing an animated version of it now, as a sequel to it. And I fell asleep during the first episode, so that was that's not a good sign.
Oh no!
yeah, so I stayed awake for the rest. That one, nope. But it's just definitely a situation where I think I'm kind of neither here nor there with a lot of things. I mean, when it came to Aladdin, the live action remake of it, I didn't watch that until last Christmas, but I know it came out 5-6 years ago. I didn't think it was that bad. And when I was growing up, Aladdin was my favorite Disney film. So I feel it just depends on how it's done. Princess Diaries, for example, I don't remember the second one too much. The first one was actually pretty good. Yeah.
Second one was pretty good too. I mean, I'm just curious if they're going to bring back Chris Pine, because he was in the second one and played a very important role in that second movie. So I'm just hoping that he comes back for the third one, or they make a really good explanation as to why he's not there.
Yeah.
Did he not play the
love interest? Yeah. Very true. Very true.
Yeah. So it might have to be Pine Chris that shows up, and not Chris Pine.
I mean, so has Anne Hathaway, so I think he should do us a solid.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think another thing with the Princess Diaries is we've been asking for years for it, and I think that also plays into it. It's definitely wanted, but sometimes it's like we've been asking for a Scar backstory for years, and you're giving us one of Mufasa, who, spoiler alert, is in Lion King for probably 5 minutes. I'm sorry, I just don't care. I don't want that.
I don't care.
Yeah, I think. Do you know what we don't know what the film's going to be like at the time.
We don't.
Now. But it could be good. I'm trying to find the bright side of it, because I agree with you. But
could be good.
I'm trying to find we're going to learn some life lessons. We're gonna do something. I don't know. That's my positivity is there. True, I agree with you. But I'm trying to think musically then wise. Sometimes we see bands come back. So about 10 years ago, maybe a bit longer, we had McFly and Busted. Sadie, I don't know if you know them. They were two popular UK bands that had hits, but they kind of fallen off now. They weren't really relevant. And then they decided to get back together. And then they called themselves, instead of McFly and Busted, now they're called McBusted. Right? And then there was that. There's been a couple of other comebacks in the past as well. Ollie Murs, I don't want to throw him under the bus, but he's celebrated 15 years in music. Sadie's I don't know who Ollie Murs is. He was on X Factor.
Yes, I think I know one or two of his songs. Yep.
Yep. See, he had a lot more, but one or two still good. It's literally a situation where musically, who would you like to see either come back or, in a nice way, stop making music?
In a nice way.
Oh, well, on the UK groups theme, I would love to see the Saturdays come back, because the Wanted, they had their reunion tour, and they both took a hiatus at a similar time in a very similar way. They both tried to crack America, did a documentary, and then went on a 1-year hiatus after the documentary and never came back. So the Wanted came back recently, so I would love the Saturdays to do the same.
That's cool. I mean, I don't even necessarily if I personally want this, but I feel I see a lot on the internet about people wanting One Direction to finally make a come back. Don't think that'll ever happen, but that's something that I think that people are asking for, at least.
Actually, you know what? I think it could.
Maybe years from now.
Yeah, I think when they get to 40, and
that's
then
true.
The bank balance is looking a bit questionable. It's
I think. I mean, NSYNC tried to. I don't know if they actually released an album or if they just did a song for the Trolls movie, but I do know that they had a comeback as well.
The thing is, I don't know. I can't name anyone else apart from Justin Timberlake in NSYNC. So it's
I can't either, personally.
I think there's a nick, but I could be making that up. But I have a question on this Ollie Murs comeback. What is he coming back from? I don't know. It's weird because he's just kind of a solo person. So it's not he split up with himself. He just kind of phased out. So really, what is that comeback? Or is it a 15-year anniversary of my career? I didn't hear about that. That's very confusing to me.
The thing is,
no shade.
I feel there's a lot of shade there right there. You know what I mean? If we feel the shade, we feel cool right now. But, you know what? I think he's using it as both as an excuse, celebrating 15 years of coming back. And it's always good when you have a milestone to kind of force it. It's okay, look, I'm back now. It's been a long time. Even for example, in the UK, there's a group called Rizzle Kicks, and they've come back recently, and their numbers are low. So Sadie, they were they had James Corden in one of their music videos about 10 years ago. They were quite big in the UK, and then they fell off a little bit. They went on, did their own solo things, and they've come back. And one of the videos I watched, they had 30,000 views. They were getting millions before. Wow. So it's just I think in them situations where they might get bored and they just kind of use it as an excuse to come back, or they think they can still recapture that moment. I think it's difficult. You've got people like Backstreet Boys who, if they was to come back and say we're doing one last album, it will shut down the whole internet because people still use their music now, I think.
Mm.
Yeah, I think sometimes when people come back or when bands get back together, it can kind of seem like not maybe like cash grabby or like taking advantage of people's like nostalgia instead of it coming or feeling like it's like an authentic like artist thing. And I think maybe that's probably why people have a tough time sometimes connecting it, and why the reunions don't always work is because it doesn't feel transparent. It maybe feels like they're trying to cash in on the nostalgia as opposed to like I said, it being genuine.
Mm. I feel like there's a sweet spot because I'm realizing, obviously the Jonas Brothers and Girls Aloud. And I don't know, for me, it was a lot of music that I listened to when I was like a teen. So you're not just kind of you're going back to that time as well. And like that nostalgia is really important. Whereas I feel like maybe when some of the bands that matured more like into their adulthood, if that makes sense, so not really like teenish music, and you're not really going back to a specific generation of time or a time that's so different to the time that you're in, then it may not like land as hard. But I don't know if that's just because I happen to be a teen when like they were around.
I think that's fair though. I mean, back with the Jonas Brothers, personally, it's not a band getting back together, but if Miley Cyrus were ever to put back on a blonde wig and call herself Hannah Montana, I would be thrilled with that. So, and maybe that's just because I was a child when, that would heal my inner child, I think.
You know what? That's a good one to talk about actually, because Miley Cyrus has had about 5 different character arcs since Hannah Montana.
True.
So if she was literally like tomorrow gonna say I'm gonna do like 2 series of Hannah Montana again, can you look at Hannah Montana the same way, knowing about Wrecking Ball, knowing about like all that other stuff? Can you, or is it like it's gone too far?
So for me, it's not about like the Wrecking Ball phase. It's about hearing her talk about her time on that show and like how young she was, and literally like basically creating her to have a personality disorder because you're having a 40-year-old like play 2 characters and not just on the show tour as 2 characters and all of that stuff. So I think that would leave like a little bit of like a bitter taste in my mouth. But had she not spoken about that, I would absolutely love a return series of Hannah Montana. I'm like, let's bring in Dolly Parton. Let's get Jake back.
Yes.
Jake, let's bring him back. Yeah.
They finally work it out. They finally get together. Yes.
But yeah, it's just not the same. She doesn't even talk to her dad anymore. So like it just wouldn't work, unfortunately.
I mean, to be fair, they tried it with Raven and it did all right, but I don't know if I kind of watched 1 episode and was like, yeah, I'm out.
I know they're doing it with Wizards of Waverly Place, and I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued on how that'll go. Yeah, I don't know.
Let's think about it from the celebrity's perspective. If you get offered this contract to come back and play a role that you're iconic for, do you think it will help or hinder your career? Say if you're still actively trying to become established in something, or you already are established and they want you to kind of regress into this former role.
Ooh, that's a hard question. I don't know. Depends on how well it does, maybe.
True, but you don't at this point you don't know if it's going to do well or not. So all you've been given is the script and the contract.
Yeah, I feel like, let's be honest, the people that they call back need it. Like Selena Gomez is not going to be on the show. She's executive producing it for a reason. Her brother's, I haven't seen him in anything since Wizards of Waverly Place. Same thing with Chelsea on That's So Raven. She needed that probably a lot more than Raven. Girl Meets World, like again, reprising a role because your career has kind of been on hold since the inception of the role. So I think, you even said it in your question, regress, like they are kind of regressing back into the role, unfortunately.
And we talked about Chris Pine, that he's too expensive now maybe for Princess Diaries 3. So if you want to be maybe too expensive to go back and reprise your old roles.
That's true. But I guess then final kind of question would be, if you, again with Bel-Air, because you're watching Bel-Air, that's a whole new cast. It's a slightly different spin-off. But if you have a show that they bring back and they do line for line the same stuff but with different actors and actresses, would you still want to watch that, or would you feel that's a different show?
I feel like just go back and watch the original. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's the original's best for the reason usually.
Yeah, I agree. And like on the topic, I don't know, I just thought about Friends, and like some people being like, oh, like we need a Black Friends. It's like, no, we just need a show about Black people living their lives. It doesn't have to be like a Black Friends, you know what I mean? So I think, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. It's like, have independent stories, and when it comes to remakes, usually leave them alone. Do you know what I mean? I already know in about 20 years' time they're going to try to do a Harry Potter remake, and it's not going to bang.
No.
Wingardium Leviosa was good for 2001. It's not good for 2041.
Yeah.
So, but that's all we have time for today on Doing the Thing. I want to say thank you to Faye and Sadie for joining us. Where can everyone find you on social media?
More Than a Muse podcast for me, Sadie. That's where we're at.
Yeah. Not sure if I should say it after this conversation, but it's fe.oj on Instagram, and then fe_oj_ on Twitter or X.
Well, just don't expose your search history and you'll be fine. Like you said, you're going to a weird place. Remember to catch new episodes of Doing the Thing live on Wizard Radio Station every Sunday from 8 p.m. UK time, and on all podcast platforms from Monday morning. We'll see you guys next week with another set of people on the show. Take care. Goodbye.